Good morning guys, welcome back to central Portugal where it's really quite cold for March. It's about 6 degrees this morning. We're having some really weird weather actually. We even had some hail over the weekend. I think last March it didn't actually rain once, and this has been a very wet, cold March so far. I think it's called an El Nino year, which is affected by the trade winds in the Pacific Ocean. Happens kind of every 2 to 7 years and it just throws all the weather off. It's definitely a very weird weather year, and I hope it settles down because spring is a time when we really need to get on with a lot of work on the land. There's a rule here in rural Portugal that you have to clear the land ready for fire season, so we really need to make sure we've not got any dead branches lying around and that the grass is maintained. And also because we know that the summer heat's coming, there's lots we really want to get done before that heat sets in. Seeing as it's not raining today and it's not crazy windy like it has been, we'll take you along for the day doing some of the chores on our 1.5 acres of land. There's still a few vines left to prune. It was a new moon last night, so that's a really good time for doing pruning actually because there's less water up in the vines. Hopefully I can show you actually, because last time Iwan pruned it was a full moon and you could see the water dripping out, and I'm hoping that today when he cuts there shouldn't be any or a lot less. We also have an injured hen, Darwin, our chicken. We think she got grabbed by a fox. Yeah, when I went to put them to bed, she wasn't in the coop, so I found her in the corner. She has a puncture wound. Well, I thought it was just a puncture wound and she'd lost a few feathers, so I put her in the coop, and then when we went to check on her in the morning, she was still doing okay, but she was really wobbly on her feet, and it turns out she has a bigger wound on her sort of breast. So we've isolated her, we've given it a good clean. She did, once I put her in isolation, oh, it's a hoopoe. Yeah, once I put her in isolation, she did actually lay an egg, so that's a good sign. I've just been to check on her this morning and given her some water. My friend Sarah from Luke and Sarah's Off Grid Life is very good at looking after injured animals, so she's told me the stuff we need to buy to keep the wound clean. I'm really hoping she's going to be okay. I think really luckily Diogo must have run out at the right time and chased the fox away, which is why she must have just been grabbed and then he's chased the fox away. The land feels a bit overwhelming at the moment because we've got lots to do. Okay, so in here we've got Darwin. She seems to be struggling to stand up. You're falling in your water bowl. Okay, so we've just been out and picked up this blue spray, which is good for keeping the skin clean. Makes me feel a little bit funny cuts, so hopefully I'll be okay. She's a little bit scared of us. Our older chickens are more tame, but Diogo, I think I need you to go up, please, darling. Come on, sit down. Up we go. Good boy. I know. Just try to put you on the ground. She can't really hold herself up because it's like a tear on her leg. But I'm going to try spray the puncture wound first. Let's see how we get on here. Don't think the wounds are like this very much. That is very blue. You should probably have some gloves on. Okay. Good girl. Where are you going? Put you back in and get some gloves. Okay. Good girl, good girl. Her torch as well so I can see a bit better. Okay, sweetie, you're very blue. Very blue. It suits you. You gonna let me have a look underneath? What do you think? Right, I'm gonna have to put you upside down, okay? Are you gonna let me? I really don't want to hurt you doing this though. Good girl, good girl, good girl. Okay. I think we got it. I know, it's not very nice, is it? Good girl, good girl. Okay, let's go. Okay, you on your feet? Right, need to have a clean out in here. Oh, calm down. Okay. Good girl, good girl. Do you want some more water? Definitely stressful having an injured bird when you've never done anything like this before. So the blue's really handy because I can actually see that it's gone in where I need it to go. It's okay, honey. Get you some more water. And then I'll clean this in a bit so I'm not disturbing you too much. There's still your cabbage leaf here you haven't eaten. I know. I know. You're gonna get better now. Okay? Let's get you some water. Well, I think that's this jumper well and truly relegated to only working in the garden in. So first job we're going to tackle today. In the last video we were working on the driveway, which we ran out of blocks, so we're waiting on the block delivery, but we really want to clear up this area a bit. Iwan's going to come down and trim, so I'm just going to remove any things that are all in the way of his trimming as best as I can. Just a lot of mess. It's mad how much mess you collect.
Ah. Dogs is usually moving. Alright.
Sometimes people get a bit upset when we talk about having bonfires to clear all the tree prunings, but this is what happens when we leave it. The grass just engulfs it, and then as it dries out in the summer it's going to become a huge fire risk. I have a very small wood chipper, so I do as much as I can with that, but that pile is going to be too difficult to do, so I think we'll register and have a fire today. We have olive prunings everywhere. We've done the big pear. We're gonna have more vines, so sometimes it's the only way to keep it safe for the summer, unfortunately. I would rather leave it to become homes for bugs and stuff, but that's just the reality of this area, really. One good thing with having left it is that the leaves are all falling off the branches, so they can go into the ground at least. Oh, it's getting hot in the sun. I don't know how many of you were watching our videos last winter, but Iwan fell over a big pile of granite rocks that was hidden in the grass like this and cracked 4 of his ribs, which was a bit of a nightmare because there's so much work to do here. So another reason why it's really important for us to keep things clear is because it's super dangerous. And then the funny, maybe not so funny thing is he goes and plays football every Sunday with a load of other lads, locals and fellow estrangeros like us, and he got a ball absolutely booted at him yesterday, and he thinks he may have cracked a rib again. I think probably one that was delicate from still healing from last year, and he was thinking he was all fine, but I think after doing that bit of strimming he's realising it's a little more painful than he had anticipated yesterday, so also not great news. And it was Dan from the Origin Homestead who kicked the ball at him, so Dan, you have to come and move all these pallets with me if he can't. So yeah, not ideal, but there's lots of work that is not so strenuous that I can get him to do, and maybe I'll have to learn to use his fancy new strimmer and do some of the clearing myself. I'll make him do all the washing up. Does it do? Let's check it's not a toad. Is it a mole? A mole, mole, mole? Is there a mole in there? So I had been giving her a hot water bottle, thank you to Mary who sent us a winter care package because my old water bottle got a leak in it, so I wouldn't have had one for her. So thank you Mary, you're keeping Darwin warm. But I thought rather than fill it I'd bring her out, see if she wants a bit of sunshine instead. I'm trying not to like mollycoddle her too much and leave her to rest. I just need to get the poop out. Keep it clean in here, huh? Yeah. Frankie, go on. Come here, just a cookie. Let's take this top one off. Can you come this way? Come on. That's a little Betty. That's a gross food, chicken. Can you have some water? Diogo. And put it back here, okay? Frankie. Frankie. Get away. So I was reading about the blue spray, so it's an antiseptic spray, and the reason that it has the blue dye is because chickens will peck at something red, so if one of the hens is injured they'll attack it, so that's why they use the blue to reduce that. Because hens can be very mean, can't they, sausage dog? Let's wash these.
As I am slightly impaired today, I'm gonna have a bit of a rest day today. Try and nurse these ribs. They're not feeling too bad, but there's definitely a bit of movement. So we'll see. So I'm gonna plant some chilies this year. I had a great idea that I stole off a friend of ours, Pete. Hi Pete. And Diane. So bought some chilies. Yeah, basically we're gonna make our own chili powder. but obviously that won't happen for a fair few months. So we'll revisit that one once they've grown. So I have 4 different types of chili. I have a red habanero, an orange habanero. The orange is slightly less hot. And then we have a red cherry and a serrano. I might try and get some more and do different varieties, and then a mixed one and stuff. So we'll see. I'm definitely not going to be planting this many chili plants, so if you did want to just... Because of how wet this is, it made more sense to fill most of it than it did.
Yeah. Sow some of the seeds if you like. Seeing how much I need to sow.
Is that just... Oh,
That's for March.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll fill this thing then.
So what I have been doing, rather than doing like labelling each one, is I kind of just label the first one and then I write in here what they are because it's easier.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Lovely.
That's a lesson learnt from last year.
Yeah.
Is I've sown courgettes just in 2 pots rather than a whole row of them because 2 plants is plenty in a courgette. What are you guys doing? I love doing this. I had a dream last night that I was driving back in the UK and was like really stressed about driving on the wrong side of the road. Diogo. So this is the box with all the seeds to sow in March. I need to stop buying seeds. So I have done in February. I did like all the tomatoes basically.
Okay.
This is what I've done. But we do want a succession plant, so you can always do some more if you wanted. Some more zinnias. And then we also can direct sow some carrots in the garlic bed.
Cool.
And parsnips too. And I was reading that it's good if you intercrop sow parsnips with radishes, and then you can see where you sowed them. And then, because parsnips take a really long time to grow, then you harvest the radishes as they grow and leave parsnips, but it like marks the rows. I imagine you could do something similar with carrots because they're so slow to germinate. But I guess in those raised beds we just know that they're beetroot seeds.
Weird.
Yeah, like little brains. Weird beetroot seeds.
into the greenhouse.
Yep.
So we've got a list of what I've done.
Yeah. Do it on another page.
Velvet Queen sunflowers, and then leeks.
I thought I'd show you what's going on in the greenhouse. So I've got 2 goji berry plants. A very noisy bird. What bird do you reckon that is?
It's a nuthatch.
A nuthatch.
You'd never believe such a loud noise from such a small
That's
bird.
exactly what I just thought. They're so small and so loud. A globe artichoke that I need to get into the veggie garden. I've got some potatoes that need to go in the ground, don't they, Diogo? Do you want to help me dig? No? Okay. Diogo wants to sunbathe instead. Nope. Just doesn't even want to hang out with me. Bye, Dodo. So down here I have a tyre to help to secure the greenhouse, but I just filled it with soil and I've put some sweet potatoes in there to try and get them to sprout some slips. And then I have a load of tomatoes that I sowed about a month ago, and some sunflowers, some beetroots, and then the last of the sweet peas that need planting out, and then a couple of courgettes and bits and bobs in pots at the back. And then I bought this tray full of seedlings out to get rained on. This is Rouge Matisse. It's growing really well. I think these are some sunflowers. Then they got hailed on after I put them out to be rained on. But they all seem to be, well, not all, but they seem to be doing okay. I think these are tomatoes. They look like tomatoes. Continue with my ridiculous amount of seeds. How's your rib feeling? Well, you can tell me what to do and I can dig.
Just literally remove the whole thing.
Okay.
There's a lot of it.
Guess if we just cut it for now. Today's video is kindly sponsored by the wonderful Squarespace. If you have a great business idea, a creative project or a hobby that you'd like to share your wisdom about, then Squarespace might be a helpful tool for you. It's an all-in-one platform to help you easily build a beautiful website. When I'm not pottering in the garden, I'm usually drawing, and I'm lucky enough to be able to work for myself, having built up my illustration business, Calm Lines, of which having my own website has been a foundational element. You can choose from one of their hundreds of award-winning design templates, giving your site a good foundation to build up from, and in no time at all you could have a beautiful and professional looking site, even if you have no design skills. All you'll need to do is add in the content, whether that's sharing about your passions like gardening or building your own online business and adding things like a shop with their commerce feature. Whether you're selling a physical product, a digital product or a service, their well-designed and functional commerce section makes it easy for you and your customers. I have my print shop on the site selling both physical and digital files, and I've also just added my first original drawing to the shop. If you feel inspired to create a site, then you can head to squarespace.com/FrankieOffGrid for a free trial and to save 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website. All links will be in the description below, and thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Crazy vines. Okay, I'm just registering to have a fire. It's mandatory to always register your fire if you're doing a bonfire and burning stuff. What you do is you give them your exact location, so if anything does get a bit out of hand, they know exactly where to come to. There's no fire risk today. They have a map with the whole of Portugal and show like which regions have fire risks, and the whole country is green today, so that's nice. In the summer it is quite a different story. Cool, that is registered, and then they just send an email to say that it's registered. I also have a hose here coming from a well. All I need to do is just run a few meters and turn on the power bank, and we'll be flooded. Iwan is not feeling great after trying to pull up some vines. bit dry. The rest of the field here is all boggy and wet. It's just here it's very dry, so it's catching a bit. That's why you always have a hose on hand. I think I'm going to stop this fire because I'm noticing that actually the dry grass goes a little further than I thought, and also now that I've wet the ground it's struggling, so I don't want to get it too big, but it's not working because I'm keeping it small, so I think I'll sort this big pile in a more controlled area where we've had a fire before. So it looks very green. The underneath is quite dry, which is alarming considering how much rain we've had, and just goes to show how dangerous it is in the summer. You can see how here it's literally a bog. And then, even though it looks very green here, it's quite dry here. And then I just spotted this bit as well. It's super dry and a bit too close for comfort.
As you can see, some of these vines are crazy. And this vine produced far too many grapes last year. And they all went manky. So we need to take quite a bit off this, but I can't really do much sawing because of my broken rib, which I'm now pretty certain I have broken again, as I can't do the sneeze. The sneeze test is a very good way of showing whether you have cracked or broken ribs, I tell you. Anyway, massacre. Much better. So I know you can't see me, but I wanted to show you the importance of ideally pruning close to or on a new moon. A couple of episodes ago I was doing some pruning and did a snip like this, and almost instantly loads of the sap, I guess, on the inside of the plant started dripping out, and that was 2 or 3 days before the full moon. And now, as you can see, very little moisture coming out.